gas is on everyone's mind. Like I have to go on a long drive today. I have to fill up. I have no gas, and I got to fill up. And it's the first time in my life where I'm like, oh my God, that's probably going to cost a ton of money. I saw Kyle's Instagram stories, her husband filling up the tank. Like it's consumed us. Like that's a big thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was a decision yesterday. I'm like you, John Jay. I wait until I'm empty. I'm in the red, and I have like 10 to 15 miles left to go. Like the car counts it down. But I had like a quarter tank, and I'm like, we better fill it up today because tomorrow it's going to be $5 a gallon.
Right. And Rich did a gas life hack on our TikToks, and it's blowing up, right? So if you go to TikTok and search John Jay and Rich, you can see Rich telling you how you can make sure you save gas, right? So having lunch yesterday, my wife says, let's have lunch. I said, okay. So it's my oldest son, Jake, my middle son, Kemp, my wife, and me. We sit down at this restaurant. And she's like, can you believe? That's how she starts off the conversation. And I'm thinking, we're about to get into gas talk because that's everything.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. So she goes, can you believe the news about Ernest Shackleton?
Who?
Do you guys know who that is?
No.
Nobody in this room knows who Ernest Shackleton is. And I may be even saying the last name. It's Shackleton. Shackleton? Anyone know Ernest Shackleton?
Doesn't change anything? Nope.
No? Nobody knows Ernest Shackleton?
No.
Okay. Can you believe the news about Ernest Shackleton?
So
I'm like, is that the CEO of Shell? Like, is that
great
does
guess.
that guy run the pipeline? Is that
Sure.
the guy we're getting our oil from in Russia? Because that's all that's in
Fair.
my mind is gas.
Right.
And she's like, no, you don't know. My sons are looking like, don't you guys, Jake? Didn't you do that book report on Shackleton? And he's like, no. So it turns out Ernest Shackleton, if you guys don't know, is one of the biggest explorers.
Oh.
So does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
I have no idea who he is.
Yeah, I know what you're
Explorers,
talking about.
Like back in the day?
Back in the day, and his ship wrecked. And over 100 years ago. Anyway, they just found his ship.
Like yesterday.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like big news. And I just
Wow.
can't believe that came up in conversation at lunch yesterday.
It is cool looking. They pulled it up out of the
Yeah,
ice.
Rich knows about it.
It's like in Antarctica. I don't know how they found it, but it's really cool looking. It looks like Pirates of the Caribbean ship with the big wheel and all
Yeah,
that.
she showed me all the pictures. Exactly what Rich is talking about. That's what she's like, can you believe?
That's kind of cool.
That is.
It's kind of cool.
I think hearing Rich talk about it, like my wife, but I hadn't seen her all day.
Right.
I'm thinking about, hey, you got this long drive tomorrow. What are we going to do about gas? I mean, should we look at an electric car? That's crazy. I mean, are we really going to do it? What are we going to do? It's like,
I wouldn't think that would be like the mass appeal news that was happening. Like everyone's talking about
I
it.
mean,
Right.
like in my house, my kids hit the door and it was all about the ObiWan trailer.
Oh,
Yes.
that was this conversation.
For
When
sure.
my kids got in the car, it was like Kemp got in the car and goes, nobody talk to me. I have to, because I sent them the trailer. And he goes, get in the car. He goes, I got to watch this. Don't talk to me. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, obviously. Then when we sat down at lunch, it was about Ernest Shackleton. Yeah. Yeah, the ObiWan thing was crazy,
I know,
man.
chills.
And I had this like
Chills.
Star Wars mathematical thing going on in my head. So the ObiWan trailer dropped yesterday, Kyle. I know you're not a Star Wars person, but it's pretty big in the Star Wars world. Like I watched it twice, got goosebumps every time. So here was my thing about Star Wars. Let's just say it's 8 episodes, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this should be bigger than it is, because if a new Star Wars movie was coming out, the world would go nuts.
Yeah.
That's only 2 hours. If you use Batman math, let's say they gave us a 3-hour Star Wars movie, right? They'd promote the hell out of that for a year. It'd be Star Wars coming out at Christmas. This is like 8 episodes. This is 8 hours. And these are main Star Wars people.
Yes.
Like,
it's
this
not
is-
like Boba Fett. This is like Obi-Wan
This is
Kenobi.
huge. And I just watched this trailer twice in my car, once at home on TV, and I just can't believe it.
Well,
I
you know what the
know,
difference
I
is.
know.
It's not like it's like ABC or NBC where it's all free. Disney Plus knows there's people like me that are thinking, well, I haven't seen anything on Disney Plus in a few weeks. Maybe I'll cancel it. And then the Obi-Wan trailer hits, and I'm like, nope, I'm all the way in. I cannot drop Disney Plus. They know. They got us sucked in.
Oh, my God.
But doesn't it look like, it looks like a movie. It looks amazing.
It does, man.
They keep on upping the game.
But what's funny is that I was on a text exchange with Suzette and Nick about this Star Wars thing, and it's like my son Kemp, who is the only one in my family that's watched every single Star Wars, everything.
Rebels, Clone Wars,
Yeah.
all that.
Like my kids all have done the same except for Rebels.
Okay.
Dutch and Jake haven't watched Rebels, and that's a cartoon but Kempis watched it. So I go, it looks like they got Darth Vader in there without his mask on. And he goes, "You're such a bot. You didn't watch Rebels." Because that's not Darth Vader. That's somebody from the cast of Rebels. Those are the people that Palpatine hired to kill the Jedis.
They called you a bot.
He called me a bot. I'm like, all right, man. All right, man.
I watched some of the cartoons. You should watch them. They're actually really good. It's kind of hard to get into it because they're cartoons, but they're actually fascinating. You learn a lot more.
Wow.
I have nothing to add other than I'm really excited for you guys.
Trust us, Kyle. It's huge.
Okay, I know I don't. I believe it for sure.
You have seen some of the movies, so
I have seen some of the movies, but I just think I'm so far out and it's way too deep that I would be lost wherever I would start. So I'm kind of you guys enjoy that. I'm so happy you have that.
Well, there were three big things in the news yesterday. I mean, it was gas. It was the ObiWan movie and Ernest Shackleton's.
Of course.
Ernest Shackleton's boat.
His cool boat.
That was found from 100 years ago.